John and I were talking earlier, and the bottom line is there is a difference between selling homes and having revenue share, just so you know, because I sold a lot of homes, but the things I got and the questions I got when I sold homes were like, what's going on? What's my listing not selling? What's going on with my buyers? In revenue share, all I do is talk to you guys. You go, thank you, Gene, for getting me into the company. This is awesome. I like that side of it, so that's why I'm over here. But John says he spends more time with his family than he ever has before. He's at the PTA meetings, he's everybody, and they're all like, do you work? He goes, yes, I work. But let's give it up for Jon Pugh from California. Come on, John. Woo! Come on, brother.
Woo! Woo! What is up? How's it going, Dallas? Just wanted to bring a little touch. If we got Gene Frederick and Sheila Fedron, we got to have a little bit of Brent Gove in the house, right? Get excited if you guys love Brent Gove. All right. I'm excited to be here today with you. Thank you, Gene. Thank you, everybody, for putting this on. First thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to share a little bit of my personal story. You might have heard this. You might not. If you have, no man ever stands in the same river twice, for either the river has changed or so has the man. So maybe you will get something different out of today. What I want to share with you is I want to touch, I know there's somebody in this room. There's somebody in this room that needs to hear this message and my story. So I'm going to speak to that person. And maybe that person is you. Maybe it's the person sitting next to you. When I was a little kid, I was best friends with my dad. Anybody here love their dad? Had a good relationship? Not so much my mom, but that's a different story. Me and my dad were really close. And when I was 9 years old, I found out that my dad was probably going to die. And he needed to have a heart transplant if he was going to have any more time with me. And so fortunately, he was able to get one. But at the time, nobody had really done that. And they gave him 5 years to live. And so I knew from a very early age that my hero was probably going to be gone around the time that I was a freshman in high school. And what that taught me was the value of time. It taught me the fact that I don't have as much time as I think I do. And I see every single one of you walk around every single day making choices with your schedule that act like you have an unlimited number of time. Like you act like you know when your last day will be here. And the truth is you don't. The truth is you don't know. You need to change the way you prioritize your time and your actions starting today. Ideas are common. Ideas are trash. You're going to hear a lot of ideas. Implementation is king. Okay, I promise you the roast of Tom Brady they talked about, that is way better than anything you're going to hear on stage if you want entertainment. If you don't write down one idea from each speaker, if you don't take one solid idea that you learn over the next 2 days and implement it in your business within the next 24 hours, you'll walk away here with basically nothing, right? So who am I? Why should you listen to me? My dad got 10 extra years. He made it till I was 20. He got to see me get my real estate license. He got to see me launch my career. I went on to sell $5 to $50 million homes for 7 years with a partner. I was making a lot of money. I was the most miserable I'd ever been in my life at that time. I then left. I got recruited by KW, Keller Williams, amazing company. A lot of you guys came from there. And everybody there had a team. So I started building a team. And I started making more money. And again, I was pretty miserable. And then I got the opportunity to run an office. And I was the #1 team leader in my region. I recruited over 10 agents a month. I had over 80 agents net in 2017. And I was the most miserable I'd ever been in my life. And I had a team member at the time, and his name was Keith. And Keith, I was not living right. I was drinking too much to medicate myself for my anxiety and my stress. I was partying. I was worried about money and all the wrong priorities. And Keith was the kind of guy that was never going to sell more than one house a month. Keith was the kind of guy who showed up late to the office because he was taking his kids to school. He would leave early because he was coaching soccer. Keith was just never going to be successful if he didn't get it together. But Keith looked at me and he was like, you know what, John? I don't really like what you're about. I don't like what you're up to. And he called me out on it. And at the time, I was like, this guy, like, nobody more boring or vanilla than this dude. Like, no thanks, I don't really care about your opinion. And so I kept doing what I was doing, and we parted ways. We didn't have the same core values. Core values are the foundation of your business and your life. If you don't walk away from here having a concrete understanding of your core values, it doesn't matter what you do. It will not matter how hard you work. It will not matter what you accomplish. If your core values are not right, you won't be right. So 3 months later, I get a call, and I found out that Keith was playing rec league soccer. He coached soccer his entire life. He loved soccer. And he had a brain aneurysm, and he died on the field. and Keith had 2 little kids and a wife, and I went to his memorial service, and it was in a room like this one, maybe a little bigger. And the most boring vanilla guy who couldn't make more than his wife and showed up late and sold 1 house a month, I had to park like 6 blocks away on a weekend in an industrial area. Like I should have been able to walk right in. I had to wait in line for like an hour to get inside. And when I got inside, this room was packed wall to wall, belly to belly with people, and mostly young people, banners and posters and balloons and streamers. And what I realized is that Keith didn't have his priorities wrong in life. I did. Keith wasn't leaving the important work at the office to do the unimportant work in the community. Keith was leaving the unimportant work at the office to do what really mattered, to really change lives, to leave a legacy. And so in that moment, I changed every goal I'd ever had. However, I didn't change my daily behaviors. I didn't get to that point. And so I continued to dig a hole. I continued to self-medicate. I continued to try and figure it out. I was hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. And when I looked around just about 5 years ago, just about this time, 5 years ago, I was trapped. I didn't know how I would get out. And a friend of mine one day, I would lay at night, guys, I'm going to be completely real with you. I would lay at night thinking the world would be a better place without me, thinking my family would be better off without me, thinking that maybe I should just end my life. That's how bad it was, just 5 years ago. And I had a friend one day say, I kind of was vulnerable and I shared. And she said, you know what, Jon, first step, just don't drink. And so the next day, I got really drunk. And then about a week later, I woke up really hungover the day after Thanksgiving. And I decided that that day, I was just not going to drink. And yesterday, it was 1,700 days without a drink. And I've been at EXP for about 1,670 of those days. So I joined EXP shortly thereafter, and I was a little baby EXP agent. I came to Build event with Tony Robbins, and I saw everybody speak on stage and all these big organizations. And I just started building my life back together brick by brick, step by step, moment by moment. And last year, so in that time, I have been able to grow an organization of 850 partners around the country. I am one of the top coaches on agent attraction in the world. I coach all the top teams on growth and agent attraction. I'm in the 0.0001% of EXP. I'm number 80 company-wide as far as builders and influencers go. I was named EXP Instructor of the Year, and I was named Humanitarian of the Year last year. And I've raised over $1 million for charities and causes that are important to me. And the reason that I share that story is because no matter where you stand today, no matter what choices you made last night, no matter what hole you've dug yourself into, I want you to know that just like me, if you stop digging, if you start building brick by brick, you can accomplish anything you want to accomplish in the next 5 years. So, thank you. So last year, I got the opportunity to speak on stage at EXPCon, and at that moment, I pretty much had hit every goal that I had ever set for myself. And I looked around and I said, wow, that's really cool, for about 10 seconds. Because what you're doing is you're chasing happiness often, rather than seeking fulfillment. And when you accomplish that thing you've been chasing for so long, it's fleeting. And so at the end of the day, what you're really looking for is to fall in love with a process. I'm going to try and go back. There we go. Oh, let's go forward. Somebody go forward. There we go. All right. And so what I didn't want to do is I didn't want to climb somebody else's mountain. I wanted to make sure that whatever I accomplished over the next 5 years was going to be true to me and true to who I am. And the work you do outside yourself will never matter compared to the work you do within yourself. So I decided this was going to be a year all about me. And I stopped pouring so much into other people. I stopped making TikTok videos, which I did a video or two every single day for over a year and a half. I stopped doing a lot of things, but what could be worse than not having a goal? What could be worse than not having something powerful to pursue my time with? Like, what could be worse is if I stood on top of somebody else's mountain. If I spent 5 years working towards something that didn't really matter to me. Everything in your life will grow to the extent that you do. You want to grow your sales business, you need to grow as a person. You want to grow your agent attraction business, you need to grow as a person. Your leadership is your agent attraction business, and your investment in yourself will directly relate to how successful you are in leading other people. So I got rid of all this stuff, and it created space for me, and what have I done? I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on therapy. I have dug deep into who I am as a person. I've learned my pain cycle. If you guys don't know what your pain cycle looks like or your truth cycle, this is something you guys should get into therapy and figure out. I learned that often when I feel mischaracterized, misunderstood, or trapped, that I would get defensive or lash out, that I would withdraw. But the truth is, I'm perfectly made. I make good choices. And because that is the truth, I can be curious. I can hold space. I can take a breath and pause. Now that sounds stupid in the 30 seconds I explained it to you just now, but I cannot describe the impact that that simple exercise has had on myself as a parent, as a husband, as a friend, and it shows up in every single aspect of my life. My therapist said the other day, she's like, the work you've done in the last 6 months is greater than anything I've seen you accomplish in the last 7 years. And she was there when I was throwing up every single morning before work, suicidal, ready to take myself off this planet. I hope you will take some time to do that inner work, to do that hard work, to make a choice, to decide today's the day you stop drinking, to say today's the day that you look at your debt and you figure out a plan. Today is the day you start building that foundation. I don't know what my next chapter is going to be. I don't know where I will be in the next 5 years. I don't know what my rev share group will look like. I don't know how much money I'll be making. But I know that at the end of the day, the relationship that matters more than any other in your entire life is the one you have with yourself. You will spend more time with yourself over the next however many days you have left than you will with anyone else. Don't be afraid to do the work that matters most. Now, they asked me to be tactical with you, so we're going to move into the tactical section of the show. Are you guys ready for that? Yes, sir. All right. First thing, you want to sell more houses? Listen to Levi. Make TikTok videos, make YouTube videos, put yourself out there on the internet, figure out a way to take what's special about you and project it to a larger audience. There is no shortage of people out there that want to hear your message. There's no shortage of buyers. There are people buying houses every day in the MLS. They bought them today, right now, in this town. There's people out there listing houses today. One of you will take a listing today. Probably Brittany Stewart. She'll probably take 2. There is no shortage. You just have to have them reach out to you. The best way to do that is to make videos on the internet. Meet your customer with what they need. Solve their problems today on the internet so that they will call you to help work with them tomorrow. The next thing I will tell you is the easiest script in the world. If you can't make videos, you need to get out there and you need to meet people. You need to door knock. I want you to go out there. I want you to find a listing. There was a property listed down the street today. I want you to find that listing. I want you to get out in that neighborhood and tell people, 123 Main Street was just listed. I am looking to sell that house this week. Who do you know that wants to move into this neighborhood? And they're going to say, I don't know anybody. And you're going to say, that's great. My number's right here on this piece of paper. When you think of someone, it's going to be a really busy open house. I'd love to get them in ahead of that. Go ahead and send me a 3-way text message, and I'll make sure that I get them into that property right away when you think of somebody. Thanks for thinking of that. If you just teach your people to introduce you by 3-way text message, your conversion rate will go up 50%. If you take nothing away from today, teach everyone in your life to introduce you by 3-way text message. The next thing is you're going to tell them, you're going to say, thanks for thinking of that, introduce me by 3-way text. That property is listed for $700,000. And there's a good chance that there's 20 or 30 buyers who that's not a perfect fit for. There's a good chance that they need a single story or they need a bigger yard or they need something a little bit different. I'm curious, it's listed at $700,000. Would you ever look at an offer around that price? Get out there and build a list. You're worried about NAR, commissions, rules, the changes in the game, the market. Build a big list of people that are looking to sell for a certain number and find a whole long list of people who want to move into a certain neighborhood. You go play matchmaker, you never have to worry about the MLS, you never have to worry about what they say you can or cannot do from the government ever again. You'll be in control of the market. I'm going to share a few ways you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone with agent attraction. I don't want you guys to work any harder, I want you to work a little bit smarter. Is that okay? Yep. Awesome. So first thing, who here works with buyers still? Cool, that's a lot of you. You guys have buyer representation agreements signed? Take those buyer rep agreements and go out there and look for properties for your buyers. I know they're not in the MLS because you're not in escrow. You haven't put them under contract, so they're not there. So call every agent you know who sells houses in your MLS and find out if they know of something coming up. And while you're doing it, build a relationship with them. Build a list of 200 agents. Oh my gosh, guys, has anybody ever said that before? Build a list of 200 agents. It still works. It worked for Gene. It worked for Sheila. You know who was on Sheila's list? Brent Gove. She cold called the dude. Make a list of agents. Call them. Find out what their biggest pain point is. Invite them to something of value. Invite them here. If you are here, if you're with EXP and you are here and you don't have a friend, a guest, somebody who does not work at this company yet sitting next to you, you have dropped the ball. You have dropped the ball. If you're from Dallas, if you've got a phone, if you want to go on homes.com, use the directory search to find agents in Dallas, you might still be able to get somebody here. It might not be too late. They might be able to get some magic out of this afternoon. They might be able to hit up that men's or women's happy hour at the end of the day. Bring a guest. It's not too late. Figure it out. Do your job. Build relationships with agents so that your buyers have houses to move into in 90 days. And at the same time, build relationships with agents. You just might change their life. I was talking to Karen Richards. Who knows Karen Richards, the broker here? Yeah. I was talking with Karen Richards before. I haven't seen Karen in a little while. She gave me a big hug. She's a super sweet lady. And I said, how are you? And she said, I'm so happy. And I said, that's amazing. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you listened to Brittany. And she got big tears in her eyes. And I'm going to cry just now thinking about it. And she said that it changed her entire life. It changed her entire life. It didn't just make her a little bit more money. It changed her entire life. Because Brittany reached out to her and offered her an opportunity to see what our environment is like. Stop being so selfish. You're just worried about yourself. You're not sharing this opportunity with other people. When you start looking at it as an opportunity that you can share with other people to change their life, to change their children's lives, to change their children's lives, maybe you will get brave enough to pick up the phone and have a conversation and ask how somebody's business is doing, because I know for a fact that almost every single agent in this market is struggling. And they don't have what we have. They don't have an environment that's going to give them what we can give them. What do all sellers want? All sellers want buyers, guys. If you have listings on the market that haven't sold, guess what? Do the same thing. Call all the agents who work with buyers and find out why they're not showing your property. You're going to need to call them all and tell them what you're offering in terms of compensation and how you're going to make that whole thing work. So you better figure out a way to get back to belly, to get back to being on the phone, to stop texting so much and moving so fast. Everybody wants to move 1,000,000 miles an hour and then wonders why they don't build a deep relationship with anyone. Gene, myself, Connor, every superstar in this room was brought to this company because they had a deep relationship with somebody they trusted. That's nodding. Everyone here is here because they had a relationship with somebody they trusted. Don't be afraid to go deep and build a relationship. Anybody here do agent-to-agent referrals? This is a great place to build your business. If you don't, it is easy. Do a map. Get a migration map. Figure out where people are moving to and moving from. And then find agents in that marketplace and make them your referral partners. Find a way to bring value to agents in that marketplace. Where do agents in Dallas move from? They move from my area, Southern California, Orange County, California. When you think of SoCal, think of me. Please send your referrals. Speak on stages, give value, connect with people. And along the way, invite them into events like this one. Invite them to EXPCon. Show them value. Bring them to a digital mastermind. Give them an opportunity to grow their business and connect with you, and one of two things will happen. Either you'll build a referral partner and you'll get a bunch of money that way, or maybe they'll also join you at EXP, and then it can be exponential. You can grow a team. You can generate a ton of leads. You can grow a team. I was director of growth for Whistle Realty. They're the #1 team now. Go figure. Hired me for a year. Just saying. Brought in 120 agents over 14 months. We sponsored a lot of those agents, guys. Find a top team and recruit to them if you don't have your own. How about open houses? Go to open houses and meet other agents and network with them to find opportunities for your buyers and sellers. Or better yet, what if you, and Karen, don't quote me on this, I don't know if this is legal, guys, but what if you got your seller to say, you know what, we'll offer X% compensation to any agent who brings a buyer to our open house the first weekend? What if you got out there and you contacted every agent in the marketplace and told them if they bring a buyer through the open house who ends up buying it, this is what the offer of compensation will be for doing that in the first weekend. And along the way, you invite them to events like this one. And then the last one, this is genius, guys. You can make a lot of money this way. I had a friend named Lylene Ewing. She frequently made over $500,000 a year selling houses, and all she would do is go to Broker Preview 3 to 4 days a week. She would find one property that she thought was unique, whether it be single story, a good starter home, a great investment, whatever it was, and then she'd go back to the office for 2 or 3 hours and she would call her database. And she would say, hey, Mary, how's it going? It's Lylene. I was just out on Broker Preview today. I saw this property. It's a single story. It'd be perfect for somebody looking to downsize. Who do you know that's looking to downsize and move into a single story? She'd call 10 to 20 people every single day with a property that she had found out there on Broker Preview. She would remind her database that she was still in real estate, that she was active out there, that she was thinking about people. And she would be top of mind, and then she would also get introductions and referrals. And guess what? While you're on Broker Preview, you can develop relationships with agents in your marketplace, add value to them, find out their greatest pain point, and invite them to events like today. I'm not asking you guys to work any harder. I'm not asking you to do anything extra. I'm asking you to be smarter with the opportunities and the activities that you have on a day-to-day basis. I'm not going anywhere. You can follow me on Instagram. It's Jon Pugh. I'm happy to share with you scripts. I'm happy to teach you about agent attraction. I'm happy to help you find sobriety. I'm happy to pour into you and help you dig out of a financial hole. Whatever I can do to help you, my time with you does not end right now. Please feel free to reach out to me. It has been my honor and pleasure. Thank you so much for everybody being here. Have an awesome day.
Jon Pugh.